What happens when there's an allegation of abuse at your organization? Other than running for cover or handing in your resignation as a board member when it's too late, what do you do? And let me start this off by telling a little bit of a story. I don't have a lot of time to watch television. It just doesn't happen. So reality shows, I'm still waiting to sort of watch my first one, but I hear it's kind of, this thing's taking off a bit, so maybe I should find out what it's all about. But I was channel surfing one night, and this goes back 10 or 15 years ago. It was around dinner time, and where we are in London, we get all these cable outlets from Erie, Pennsylvania. And like every city in the States, it seems like there's a Channel 7 Action News, right? And so the lead story on Channel 7 Action News in Erie that night caught my attention. I didn't switch to the next station, was suspected abuse charges pending against the senior minister of a church. And Ace reporter is there with her Action 7 microphone, and framed nicely in the background is beautiful sort of Southern colonial style church, probably Baptist. And it caught my attention. At first I thought, well, am I looking at Erie or am I looking at Ontario? Is this one of our clients? You have to understand my existence, right? Like, when a floor collapses in a church building, I check, is it one of our insureds, right? I won't get into that, but anyway. And so what happens is, what happened was in this case, she starts live feed from in front of this church. And she's talking about this on camera, live. She wanders over. There's a group of people over here. She's talking over here. She identifies them as concerned members of the church. On camera, one of the guys in his stab at his 15 seconds of fame, or 15 minutes of fame, 15 seconds in this case, he identifies he's not only a member of the church, he's one of the church elders. And so the reporter's talking to him. He's talking live on the camera. Now he says, out of his mouth, it uttered these words. And I'm paraphrasing slightly, but this is about what he said. Yeah, I always did think he was a little bit odd. So, think about a textbook case. I mean, it's almost to the point of like ridiculously funny in a way, but the point is, in a church, think about how many people think they are spokesmen for the church. Spokespeople. Was it your elders, your deacons, your ministers, your members, your volunteers? Somebody's been around for 40 years. They're all going to say, hey, I was a member of the church, I was a board member, I am, I'm going to be, I do this, whatever. You've got infinite number of spokespeople. So think about it. You've got an allegation of abuse. The first problem that you've got is put a lid on who's talking, right? First of all, most people are ignorant of what's going on anyway. Secondly, you certainly don't want to breach any confidentiality. You don't know if the allegation's true, so you don't want to libel or slander the person who's the alleged perpetrator. Most times you can't reveal the identity of the victim, and a lot of the damage that's done in an abuse claim is what happens in the few days after the allegations arise, in terms of how the response takes place. And the problem is, if you don't have a protocol in your plan, then people act, they panic, and they make the wrong choices. So if you've got a protocol and a checklist set out, when it happens, your abuse response committee goes into action, and they've got a checklist of things they do, including incident report forms right away. Do they have a legal obligation to report this to a child protective agency or the police? Talk to your lawyer. Good idea at this point. Because you're balancing things. Think about this. You again don't know if this is true, but you probably need to suspend the person who's the alleged perpetrator pending the outcome of the investigation. But you can't make any comments. You have to just show caution, concern, you make a public statement that's been okayed by the lawyer. Without admitting legal liability, you do express your organization's concern and willingness to cooperate with the investigators. You assure confidentiality for the alleged abuser and the alleged perpetrator. Suspension pending the investigation, avoiding public statements to the media or from the pulpit. And from my point of view, this is really important. You report the incident to your insurance company right away. You don't wait. Reason being is if you've got abuse coverage, it also means you've got legal defense for that. You qualify for coverage. The insurance company is now in the same boat as you are. And I can guarantee you that any lawyer they choose at this point in time is going to be way better than a lawyer you're going to find in the Yellow Pages. Okay? Lawyers are lawyers is not true. I mean, there's so many specialties, and even within specialties, there's specialties. Okay? So finding the right lawyer for a given situation is crucial. But the other part of it, too, is if you don't report it, you might be violating the terms or conditions of your insurance policy. Because if you go and mess things up after the fact and you haven't reported it, the insurance company can take the position that, well, yeah, we're on hook up to a point, but we're not on the hook for all the stuff you did after you violated the terms of the policy. So these are some things that should be in there. So that is an overview of the abuse prevention 7-point checklist.